Welcome back. 6:42 now. You know, every day we see the images of the Occupy protesters here at home and around the world, and we hear their slogans. But do we really understand the message? Dr. Jeff Montez de Oca is an assistant professor in the Department of Sociology at UCCS. First of all, Doctor, thank you for your time this morning. We certainly appreciate you being here. You know, we've heard the frustration in the voices of many of these protesters, but Doctor, are you hearing a central message?
Hi, John. Thanks a lot for having me here. Yes, absolutely. I mean, like a lot of people, I've been curious about what's going on with the Occupy Wall Street movement, and I've been trying to understand it. And I think there's been a few impressions that are out there that this is a group of young people who are just looking for handouts, or on the other hand, who simply want to tear down what Americans have built over the recent years, and I don't think that's a very accurate description. One of the things we're seeing in the movement of the Occupy Wall Street movement in New York and in cities all across the United States, including here in Colorado Springs, is a very diverse group of people who feel like what has developed over the recent decades has produced tremendous inequalities in the United States and around the world. And I think that is the central message of the Occupy Wall Street movement, is a frustration with development of tremendous economic inequalities. Now, and so people have taken to the street because what they see is that the political and economic decisions that have been made over the last 30 to 40 years have produced these tremendous inequalities. So, for instance, one of the things we hear quite a bit about is this idea of the 1%. The richest 1% in the United States right now are able to enjoy almost 25% of the income in the nation and around 40% of the wealth. What that means is that the other 99% of us have to split up 60% of the wealth. And there are several reasons why we see this movement out into the streets. And I think there's two primary reasons. One, there's tremendous frustration with the political system. What the people in the Occupy Wall Street movements are responding to is a feeling that neither the Democratic or the Republican parties are representing the interests of the majority, and in fact are primarily representing the interests of the 1%. I'd say the other reason is that there's a long history in the U.S. of social movements creating profound change, and we can look at the abolitionist movement, the suffragettes, the labor movement, the civil rights movements, and many others. And so what you hear from the people involved in the Occupy Wall Street movement is a desire to engage in what they're calling direct democracy, and that's going out into the streets to deliver their message that the political and economic system that we have, that there's something really wrong with the political and economic system that we have right now that has produced this inequality.
And Doctor, we have about 30 seconds left. Real quickly, aside from random citizens gathering, do you think there's a machine behind these protests?
From everything that I have seen, both reading about what's going on in New York and from going down to Acacia Park here in Colorado Springs, I don't see any clear evidence of some kind of machine or other group of that nature coming in and driving this. In fact, what we're seeing is a lot of people who are hearing this message of frustration about economic disparities in our country and coming out and participating because of that message, and in fact receiving tremendous community support.
All right, Doctor, thank you so much for your time. We certainly appreciate the insight this morning.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Thank you. We'll be right back.